Response video. Kind of funny, actually. Anti-bullshit man. Haven't seen him for a long time. Haven't spoken to him. He's just not doing the YouTube thing anymore. And that's fine. So out of nowhere, though, he, does these raggy comments on my video. Tranquil says, absolutely, spot on. So, I mean, I could sort of use that as evidence right there that you've got to be out of your mind full of shit if Tranquil is saying absolutely spot on. Because, I mean, Tranquil doesn't even know what planet he's on. Tranquil is exactly that. He's tranquilized. Okay? He's just some little moaning, groaning putz who just sits in the corner and goes, I don't know, I can't do anything, I can't think, can't want, can't desire, I'm bored, I don't know what I'm... And that's it. So if that guy says somebody's doing something right, they got to be doing it wrong. This Tranquil does everything wrong. He's just one of those kind of people that does everything wrong. I bet you. I bet you he's done everything in his life he's ever done. I bet he's folded paper crooked. He's done everything wrong. Anyway, it's not about Tranquil. It's about anti-bullshit man. So anyway, we'll read these comments because they're just amazingly bizarre. Okay, the word value is defined as a concept of worth. Nothing more. Is that the truth? Is value defined as a concept of worth and nothing more? Does it say that in the actual dictionary? Value is a concept of worth and nothing more. I'll use my little tool to jump to a search of the word value. Okay, Wikipedia. Ooh, let's go there and see what it says about value. Yeah, it's a word describing things that can have value, I bet. Oh, a personal value is absolute or relative to ethical value, the assumption of which can be the basis of ethical action. A value system is a set of consistent values and measures. Values and measures. Oh, measures of a value? Yes, it's a quantity of value. It can be a quality of value. There can be lots of different elements to value, but yes, that's what it is. It doesn't say any of that crap you said it said. So, you're wrong. Hopefully I didn't wipe this out entirely. Oh, yeah, it gets rid of the, sort by thread, which is sort of irritating. Not that we need the threads. There aren't really any responses here. All right. So anyway, that's just what the word value. I think people do understand this. Okay, a concept of worth. Even by that definition, I haven't crossed any lines here. It's a concept. I mean, saying worth is essentially saying the word value, isn't it? It's a synonym for value is worth. So that doesn't even really get to the balls of it. But the point of it is that something that would mean something. It would represent something of meaning, real meaning. You could say like real value. You could even use a qualifier. But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that gets down to the water is wet kind of thing. It's such a basic concept. This idea of something being critical, being important, being meaningful. I think that's, yeah, if you can't accept that there could be things in the universe that are meaningful, then yeah, you're a nihilist dumb fuck. Yeah, you look kind of funny. Anyway. You've done a stellar job in the past railing against postmodernists who try to mess with language, so it kills me to see you turn into this twister, bender, and outright redefiner of well-defined words. Well, again, I haven't said anything different. I haven't used the word value any different in the 6 years I've been on YouTube, so this is just a pile of crap. I've always had the same understanding of value since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I knew what value meant. It meant something was important. Like you don't whap somebody in the face with a stick because it's important that they not suffer and it's valuable they're suffering. I mean, that concept existed. I knew things had value. You didn't want to break them. There were some things I wasn't allowed to break because they were valuable. They were better in the unbroken state. Shit. And for what? To establish a half-baked premise. Well, it's not a premise. So what's half-baked? What exactly is the concept that's half-baked here, bullshit fucker? Really? What's half-baked? The idea that sentient creatures suffer and that their suffering has value and that it makes sense to create systems or to engineer devices so they create less suffering. Like if you're going to have a machine in your plant to produce the widgets, the classic widget, should you have machines that eat people's arms off or machines that don't eat people's arms off? It costs you the same amount of money to have arm-eating machines and non-arm-eating machines. It just seems to me that, oh, there you go, value. Arms are valuable. Let's not eat them in the stupid machine. Anyway. To establish half-baked premise, which you don't even need in order to argue for AN. Well, I don't really understand. How exactly do I argue for the discontinuation of civilization and ultimately all life on Earth because it's corrupted by this negative value equation, the fact that it creates more harm than anything of value to fix the harm, to balance against the harm. It's a zero-sum game. You can't have a zero-sum game in a world where there's no value, moron. You actually have to have numbers, value numbers, to have something called a zero-sum game. You've heard me use those words years ago, right? Yeah, that's right. Well, what the fuck are you doing here? What is this? Be a retard day in Canada or something? So this is just some kind of joke you Canadians do? You all of a sudden just become a fucking idiot, an asshole, and a retard, and a rude and obnoxious ones to boot? You just show up in a comment section and smear a bunch of duty for no good fucking reason? Douchebag? Man. So anyway, I just don't see any point in arguing against life. Complaining that life is fundamentally broken, that it enslaves animals to silly purposes. Replication for the sake of replication. I don't see how you can possibly make that a negative thing unless you establish the fact that it's squandering or wasting something of precious value. There's no argument to be made otherwise. Shit for brains. Point to one dictionary that defines value as consisting of raw feelings. Well, I don't know what raw feelings. I can certainly find dictionary definitions, as we just saw, that would have words like harm in them, or damage, or let's see, what else? Negative consequence. Sure, lots of words like that. But the fact that I'm saying that qualitatively, that's all we have as living things. The bullshit that we imagine, extracted, what we have is a feeling state that we migrate through our life with. And what makes circumstances good or bad is what we feel when we're in those circumstances. You know, that's the meaning of it, is whether or not our comfort is, got a good number or a bad number, a value number, in terms of how comfortable we are. But that's basically what our life sums up to. We have so many moments of joy, quote unquote, and so much time of nothing, and then so much time of horrible, 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 scared, awful, awful, I can't stand this anymore, terrible, terrible. So we have, those are the things, and those have a value. Little bars go up and down. Little red bar goes up and down depending on where you are. And the point is you add up that number. Feelings plus and minus. It's simply incoherent to apply the word this way. Incoherent to you. I mean, it's coherent apparently by your standards, tranquil standards, to somehow use the value idea in some other way than to acknowledge that what makes our conscious state important are feelings. Not our thoughts, but our feelings. What exactly we're feeling. We know the difference between pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings. What causes those feelings is really quite irrelevant. It really is quite irrelevant. It really is quite irrelevant. Alright, anyway, more fun with, whatever. Fucking shit for brains. The tunnel vision net principle formula. The tunnel vision. Okay, now, so you're just throwing words in there for the sake of throwing a word in? What the fuck does that mean? Tunnel vision how? How have I left out something important here? What's the really important thing? You mean the guy who wants to see the Red Sox win the World Series really is onto something? That it really matters whether the Red Sox win the World Series? It's not just about the fact that he's addicted to it, he's horny, he's going to get off on it, and that's what's important. That makes him happy, and that's the only value existing. There is no value in the game itself. There's only value in the fact that it makes certain fat, overweight weirdos who can't get their dicks hard, it makes them happy to watch a baseball game or something like that. So you're telling me that's the tunnel vision, that the baseball game really does have value, that the Boston cream pie really is magnificent. It's not just that somebody's personal taste is interpreting as wonderful, that they're getting off on it. Like if somebody's a chubby chaser and he likes 600-pound ass, that somehow 600-pound ass is absolutely brilliant. No. Anyway, principal formula you tout leads to the following, : if presented with an opportunity to painlessly, instantly kill an adult who is, 1, as educated as you. Well, who cares about education? That's not the argument. The argument would be is whether they can make an argument. Can they make a rational argument? Okay, so if I'm proposing that something's true, like you're an asshole, or you're a fucking turd head, or you got shit for brains. Not only are you bullshit, man, you are fucking dinosaur shit, man. You are all kinds of shit, man. You are every kind of shit, man. Not just bullshit. You're chicken shit. Yeah, chicken shit, man. That's what you are. Chicken shit, man, for showing up in my comment section with this crap. You little puke. So, as educated as you is irrelevant. What your education is irrelevant. What matters is whether you can make a rational argument. Whether you can construct something called logic, all right, and present it to somebody and say, this is my logical defense against your accusation. So if I make the accusation to somebody who loves life, because Mohammed loves them, and I make a rational argument to them, I first explain, Mohammed doesn't fucking exist, you stupid turd. Okay, and that your whole premise for your understanding of your magnificence is a delusion in your fucking head. What you really are is a fucking flatworm with a few extra goddamn neurons that make you think you're spectacular. But you in fact do suck. Your ass smells, and so does your fucking skanky cunt. Alright? You're a dumb, useless sack of fucking shit that has done nothing in your life but create problems by causing harm to other sentient things that you thought you were better than. And you aren't better than any of them. Alright? All you are is a feeling bag. A bag of shit that feels crap. And you have deluded yourself into thinking your bag of shit is somehow better than all the other sentient bags of shit. But you're not better than them. You're just a bag of sentient shit. So, education. So, we'll throw that one right off there. Piece of crap. Piece of bullshit, man. That, number 1, is bullshit, man. 2, is content with his life and wishes to live out the remainder of it. Which I probably am not going to have a contention with if he isn't causing any harm. Okay, so again, this argument doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing in my philosophy that's insisting that we violate somebody's wishes to remain here. What we're saying is that you can't remain here forever. Okay, so once you live out your life, you can't leave Prodigy, you can't do anything else to keep the wheels turning. Okay, you just do your stupid silly thing, whack off, and we'll be done with you. So as a social contract, I'll give you that. I'll give him his desire as a concession to the social contract. But this is still going to have to be explained. Okay? I mean, I could even argue, shit for brain bullshit man, that we all have to make calculations about whether it's worth us living another week. Right? I don't know what's coming a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now. So I am exposing myself to risk by continuing to exist. And that may well be a very unwise decision on my part. Not to bail out now. Right today, right now. It might be very unwise of me not to recognize the jeopardy I'm putting myself at for no gain. Like I said, if I died in a way that would just create no advantage whatsoever. And perhaps I could die today and there would be some advantage to it, and then at least somebody might watch my videos or something because I'd be dead. And people like people who are dead. You know, they like dead people a lot more than they like living people. But anyway, that's besides the point. Is that's an issue of judgment. It's an issue for argument. So again, I haven't heard the argument from one of these happy people explaining to me how they're actually accomplishing something. Okay, except exposing themselves to risk. Quite obviously, I had a stroke. It came out of nowhere. One day I was fine. The next day I wasn't fine. That's the way life works. So your person who's going to say they're content playing the risk game is going to have to explain to me how it's rational or reasonable to play a zero-sum game you can't win, okay, where you're just exposing yourself to risk. And I'm going to argue all he's going to have is, I want to. And that's because he desires. Okay, so desire has completely owned his judgment. And it owns my judgment in many respects. It keeps you in the game because you say, well, you know, I might get some pussy tomorrow. So I might as well hang in there another day because you never know. So yeah, those are the rationalizations. But that's what those are called, rationalizations. You're making excuses for your desire. You're calling your desire good judgment. And your desire isn't good judgment. It's desire. Go look that word up in the dictionary, fuck for brains. Oh, God, you're stupid. All right, anyway, 3. Who lives on a desert island. It doesn't, okay, yeah, so it could be any island, right? Okay, so the implication of that is that he's causing no harm. He's irrelevant to the equation, and because he's trying to make me out to somebody who's swimming across the ocean to cut his head off for some reason, which I'm not trying to do, but that's the argument he's trying to make here. But anyway, let's get to 4. Who lives on a purely vegan diet. Well, I don't even care if it's vegan, but fine, good, do no harm. First, do no harm, very good. But what we're talking about is the value of his life itself, okay? That's the issue at hand, is whether or not anyone could defend living, period. Whether it's a defensible position, okay? And it'd be idiotic, it'd be inconsistent of me to say, no, there is a rationally defendable life in the sense of being separate from being a good servant. Okay, so unless I could argue that somebody's life would be worth it if they were curing cancer or preventing harm, or like Dr. Kevorkian were making it possible for people to gracefully exit or do something to ameliorate or compensate for all the negative that's spilling out of this biological mass. So if somebody's containing the mess being made, their life is valuable. But you're arguing for somebody separate from the mess who isn't cleaning anything. And you're saying he still has merit. And I'm saying, how? Explain it to me. Give me the explanation for what he's accomplishing, how the universe needs him to exist, how he's more relevant or important than the non-existent Martians. Explain it to me what the rational argument is. And if you don't have a rational argument, I still don't see any need to cut his head off, but theoretically it would be the right thing to do. It would be the logical thing to do because it doesn't serve a purpose. And it's only opening the door to his stroke or some other disability. What if he has a stroke that renders him an imbecile? And he's just stuck being an imbecile on a desert island, starving to death. Doesn't sound good. Okay. Whose continued existence will not tilt any outside interaction. Well, like, see, again, the only thing that gives value to our lives is the fact that we can tilt interactions. We can soften the blow, so to speak. We can clean up the mess. We can prevent the mess. So outside interaction is necessary to create anything called productive or positive. You can't create a positive unless you are fixing something, unless you are tilting the world. So that doesn't work for me at all. So you're saying that he's some sort of perfect biological specimen, not at any real high risk for harm, and he's just doing some sort of little stupid mouse chase game. Again, if this was a mouse we were talking about instead of a human being, if this was a mouse on a desert island, you're arguing to me that there's something necessary in what the mouse is doing. That there's some reason to respect the mouse's existence because he's on the island, and that makes him meritorious for some reason. That I shouldn't just say, no, let's, like everything else, we're closing everything else down. Yeah, let's close down the island. Why subject the mouse to potential harm? He's just going to live and then die. So why don't we just make it easy? Okay, why don't we just do it gracefully? Fuck, just logical fuck for brain. Whose continued existence will tell that the only rational move is still to kill him, as per some zero net mandate. Zero sum, not some zero. Yeah, that is truly the rational thing to do. And you don't understand that? That theoretically, if you have a pet or something, the rational thing to do is to put it to sleep long before it gets sick? To actually put it to sleep when it's perfectly healthy, just to avoid it from having to get sick first, so then you have to panic and kill it too late. The rational thing to do would be to put it to sleep because it can't accomplish anything. It can't do anything but open the door to harm by existing and chase what are silly, contrived desire. Again, desire is not a good thing. The fact that you think it's good, the fact that you have the illusion that you're somehow, it makes up for something, is just that. It's an illusion in your head of the value. It's a projection of a compensating value, that it will make it worthwhile if I get. And that's what you're built to do. But you can be built to do that for anything. Heroin, I did it for nicotine, I still do it for nicotine. Nicotine. It has no merit. And yet I will derive an understanding somehow in my brain that having it will improve my condition. And we will strive to improve our condition. And that's all we need, is the notion in our head that our condition is improvable. And that will propel us towards something. Okay? And not and make it difficult for us to concede defeat. Because we can see the promise. But it's a fake promise. It's an unlasting promise. It will satisfy you in the moment, and then the moment will pass, and you will go back to being in the dungeon. You will not have the illusion of progress anymore, because you will slide back down the ladder, so to speak, metaphorically. So anyway, just fuck you. I mean, really, this is just really crap. You show up my video with this sack of shit turd nonsense. Can you back up any of this mush? This drivel, tunnel vision? Demonstrate it, show it, prove it. Show me the rational argument defending the existence of the mouse on the island. Explain to me what the mouse is accomplishing. One mouse alone on a desert island. You explain to me why a rational humanitarian wouldn't just say, I'm not going to just leave it running around in circles on the fucking island. Why? Why do that? And again, I'm not even arguing that I have any impetus to be that disrespectful to your psychological dilemma. I'm willing to concede your addiction. I'm willing to concede the mouse's addiction. Okay, if he's really, really horny to run in the wheel chasing the Cheeto. So the whole way you frame this is if I was making an argument in the video stating that we have to be explicit and completely devoted to these principles. No, these are just the truth, though. They are the truth. The fact that you don't like the truth, well, that's your problem, asshole. But it is the fucking truth that the mouse can do nothing good on that island. That there is no gain to be made by it existing. And I know goddamn well that you wouldn't put mice on fucking goddamn Mars. I know you wouldn't. Even if they were living like without predators and their life was pretty cool, I don't think you would be sadistic enough to expose them to fucking harm. Okay, so you could say there's mice on Mars. So if you wouldn't do it to a mouse, why would you do it to a human? Can you explain that distinction to me, please? You fucking cunt. You're gonna come on my video with this crap talk. Like I don't get enough crap talkers on my goddamn videos. I need you showing up doing that kind of garbage. You fucking turd. Jesus Christ. Fuck you for this. Fuck you. You fucking goddamn whatever. Saggy dick-skinned fucker. Yeah. Yeah. You're just fucking, this is just petty resentment because you got saggy dick skin. Yeah.